Can anybody hear me? Is this thing on? No. I'm just kidding. We actually just lost power. The emergency light's on, but we don't have a microphone. Luckily, I'm Irish and my voice tends to carry. Can you hear me at Elliott's? Get me over here. Town of Danville, thank you guys for coming. Thank you for coming to honor veterans this Veterans Day. I want to give just a little brief history about the beacon on top of Mount Diablo. The beacon was lit in 1927 as an aid to navigation, before GPS. 28, excuse me. Planes would need to look at the beacon to know where they were. And on December 8th, 1941, after we were attacked in Pearl Harbor, they had to extinguish the light so it couldn't be used by enemy aircraft to target the valley. And that light stayed extinguished until 1964. Admiral Chester Nimitz, who personally received the surrender from the Empire of Japan over in Tokyo Bay, gave the order to relight the beacon just on Pearl Harbor Day to remember the people who died in Pearl Harbor. Some of their survivors are here right now. I'd like to give them a big hand. The family members of the survivors of Pearl Harbor. These are the sons and daughters of Pearl Harbor Association.
Say again.
These are the sons and daughters of the Pearl Harbor survivors that we have here. Not the Pearl Harbor survivors. So a few years ago, there were a number of elected officials that got together and they wanted to make it official that we will light the beacon on top of Mount Diablo in honor of veterans on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and Pearl Harbor Day in perpetuity going forward. Some of those people include current Mayor Renee Morgan, Congressmember Mark DeSaulnier, Senator Steve Glazer, Assemblymember Rebecca Bauer-Cahan, County Supervisor Candace Anderson, Eduardo Guadachov, California State Parks, Diablo Range, Kathleen Farley from the Pearl Harbor Sons and Daughters Survivors Association, Ted Clement from Save Mount Diablo, who is also an originator. John Gallagher on the board of Save Mount Diablo was also an originator, and Colonel Alan Kalin, who's here with us today. Where are you, Colonel Kalin? Who has previously led this event in the past. I'm honored to take up the torch, keep on lighting the beacon going forward. Thank you folks for participating in this. And for the service organizations that support veterans here, including our Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 75, led by Commander Neil Giles, the American Legion, which is a big proponent of the original push to light the beacon, Marine Corps League Post 942, Lee Halverson, the Vietnam Veterans of the Diablo Valley. We have Dennis Giacomelli. Where are you, Dennis? I think he's looking for the breaker. And American Legion Post 246. We have Mark Heinerman or Alan Skarlek here? Right here. Right. Alan, thank you for coming. And Gene Barker of the Blue Star Moms, Chapter 101. Where are you, Gene? Thank you, Gene. You can see a lot of those folks' signatures on the original document that was signed by our elected officials and the people who support veterans. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming. I would like to introduce our Patricia Payton, who is an Army veteran, also an Army brat, as we call them, daughter of Army service. She was part of the Army Signal Corps for 11th year and a West Point graduate and sang for the West Point Glee Club back in the day. She's going to start us off with the national anthem. I invite you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam? What stripes and bright stars through the perilous
speaker when we light the beacon. This year is Eric Wright, who has served as a combat engineer in the U.S. Army from 2010 to 2015. He's deployed twice to Afghanistan with the 14th Infantry Brigade Combat Team from the 4th Infantry Division. And during one of those deployments, Eric served as a sapper platoon leader, conducting route clearance patrols, clearing roadside bombs in eastern Afghanistan. If anyone remembers the news from those years, the roadside bombs were the big deal. So I'm proud to announce one of our own, Eric Wright here, who's part of the Veterans of Foreign Wars post here in the Vets Hall.
Hi everyone, can you hear me across the street? I'm going to do my best Teddy Roosevelt here. Sean, thank you for the warm introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Morgan, veterans and supporters of veterans. My name's Eric Wright. I'm a resident of Walnut Creek and I'm a member of VFW Post 75. There are two things I want you to take away from this short speech. The first is a reminder that this holiday honors the check written by every member of the armed forces when they raise their right hand and swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution. During periods of conflict, our nation has often cast that check in full. During periods of peace, it is often asked for less. But do not forget that this holiday is not the one for what each service member did. It is the holiday for what each service member was willing to do. So that's the first takeaway. The second one needs some context. So I was a sapper in the Army. You can ask ChatGPT what it is later, but we blow stuff up. Today though, I would like to talk to you about guard towers. So during the War on Terror, our deployments were governed by strict caps on troop numbers. So that means that jobs that in previous eras were done by service members were instead done by third country or local contractors. So during most of my first deployment to Afghanistan, my company occupied a small combat outpost, and our guard towers were manned by local Afghan contractors. Afghanistan is a Muslim country, and the month of Ramadan is a holy month. In a country without a reliable banking system, it is also traditionally a time for Afghans to return to their home village on vacation and take with them a year's worth of earnings. So for both cultural and security reasons, during Ramadan, we put our Afghan guards on leave to return to their villages, and U.S. soldiers, my soldiers, were in the towers in battle buddy teams. So as a platoon leader, strictly speaking, my job was just to ensure that my troops were taken care of. But it was also a great opportunity to learn from them. So you can do the math. I believe we were responsible for 6 or so towers, 20 minutes per tower. I time it so I hit the end of the first shift, the start of the second shift. That puts me out there for about 4 hours in the middle of the night talking with my troops. That type of exercise teaches you a lot. Some of it is not appropriate for this solemn occasion. But it also taught me about every one of my soldiers, and that part I can share with you. And this is the second takeaway that I have for you today. We are all very, very different. The armed forces are a reflection of American society, and there are stark differences in the backgrounds, perspectives, and opinions of all of us. But at the same time, we were, and we still are, united by a common mission, a common purpose, a common story. The differences and the unity are not in contradiction. They are the American fabric. So my second takeaway, that we are different and united, is really an instruction to each of you. It's an instruction to look beyond the algorithm that's been tailored by our corporate tech overlords to each of our stark differences. Tech companies make money by monopolizing your attention, and the quickest path to doing so is highlighting the differences that have always been there. So I leave you with this final thought. We have always been different. That is not important. We have always been united in a common mission, a common purpose, a common story. And that is the important part. Our veterans are a daily reminder of that unity. So happy Veterans Day. Sappers lead the way.
Thank you very much, Eric Wright. That was very moving. Last but definitely not least, I would like to introduce our town mayor, Mayor Renee Morgan. If you go on the Danville town website, you can see a list a mile long of all the accomplishments that she has. I would like to highlight that this is her third time as mayor, and she's been on the town council for some time, and they rotate through the mayorship quite a bit. Most notably, in 2023, the Danville Area Chamber of Commerce elected her as the Danville Citizen of the Year, which is quite an accomplishment. So it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Morgan.
So it's interesting because I was a cheerleader in high school, so I'm going to try to use that voice. First of all, I wanted to welcome all of you to this wonderful event. I want to thank you for being here because this is all about our veterans and about all of us not forgetting our history. This is history right here. This building and these walls holds history. We're here tonight to make sure that we recognize our veterans, our service members, and our families that are with us this evening. If you are a veteran, please raise your hand and be recognized, please. Your courage and your commitment continue not only to inspire me, but the entire town of Danville and beyond. We come together this evening in gratitude, with love, and all those who served. Those of us that know what that means, the service to our nation. My father, Command Sergeant Major Tommy D. Morgan. Yes, I'm an Army brat and I'm proud of it. My father served for 30 years. My son-in-law served for 20 years, just recently retired, also from the Army. We know the ultimate sacrifice. We also know what it means to be a dependent of an Army soldier or a military soldier. If you are a dependent of a military individual, please raise your hand and be recognized. Not only are these veterans serving our country, but believe me when I say you are also serving your country right alongside of them, so thank you. Very special, that does so much for our veterans, but sits quietly in the background and never gets noticed. And that's Sandy Wiedemann standing in the back over here. The quiet heroes that we sometimes need to acknowledge and make sure that they are recognized. Tonight, the beacon on Mount Diablo will be lit. Its light will shine as a symbol of remembrance and respect. It reaches across our valley, and it honors every veteran in our area. I would like to say that every one of you that are veterans share in that sacrifice, and we thank you. When you see that light shining, I want you to take a moment and pause. As children, remember the sacrifice. Freedom is not free. And know that that light is shining for you as a veteran, for your courage, your service, and your devotion to this great country of ours. Thank you all for your sacrifice as veterans. Thank you all for being here this evening, for your strength, and thank you for that enduring light that continues to guide us as we look up on Mount Diablo. Thank you for being here this evening.
Mayor Morgan, thank you very much for your words, and thank you for supporting us. Town of Danville, do you want to light the beacon? Yeah! I need your help. Are you going to help me light the beacon? Yeah! We're all going to have a countdown. And I'm going to need your help with the countdown. When we get to 0, we're going to press the button, and the beacon boys up in Mount Diablo are going to make sure that that beacon gets lit. But I'm also going to need help from our service organizations. Miss Mayor, Mayor Morgan, VFW Post 75, Vietnam Veterans of Diablo Valley, Sons and Daughters of Pearl Harbor Survivors, American Legion Post 246, Marine Corps League Tech 942, shepherd showed up at my doorstep when I came back from Iraq in 2009 to welcome me back. True story. I appreciate you being here. Okay, are we ready, Danville? Yeah. Count with me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Luckily, it's not powered by the Vets Hall. And you can't see it right now because the sun still has too much light. But when you look up on Mount Diablo tonight, you'll be able to see that beacon shining.
We'll make sure to see that.
I'd like to introduce Mr. Joe McHale. Hands on the hearts, please. No hands salute you.
Yeah, it could be.
I could have did
Yeah, this is the person.
Here.
All right, we good? No, I thought this was behind you. It's better than standing it out.